Aloha, amigos. Kamasa va. Anyway, I'm Ben. This is Ben Films, and I like to make cool stuff. And as of filming this, the new Disney Plus series Loki comes out next week, and I'm really excited. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make Loki's headpiece. Now let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing is tracing my patterns onto 4mm EVA foam. You can download my patterns from my website. The link, as always, will be in the description below. Next, I'm cutting out the pieces. Now, you really need to make sure that your knife is really sharp in order to cut the foam properly. So, sharpen it often, and if your blade gets way too dull, then replace the blade. So I cut out all my pieces, and there's a couple pieces here where on the back side, you can see I drew these lines here, and on here, these lines right there. And I need to sort of open those up a tiny bit. So to do that, I'm going to use my rotary tool. Okay, so I went through a bit of trial and error for this piece. So I'm not going to show all that so it's not confusing. So I'm just going to cut to where I explain pretty much how I did it. Basically, it's just the center line, I cut a wedge out and glue that wedge together. And on the other lines, I score a line and then open it up. So if you make this, only do the thing with the contact cement to cut out the wedge on this one right here. On all the other lines here, just open, cut a line, open it up, put some hot glue in there. So there we go. Finally got that piece done. Next, I'm gonna take this piece, and I didn't do the thing with the contact cement on here, because if I fold it like that, it folds way too much in, if that makes sense. So instead, I'm just gonna put some hot glue in there, just fill it up with hot glue, and only fold it a little bit of the way. So then, you could just cut a smaller wedge, but mine ended up being too big, so this is just what I'm doing. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat this up with my heat gun. Try to avoid the spots with the hot glue, because it'll melt the glue again. But I'm just trying to heat up this part on top so that I can bend it into the right shape. I'm just gonna roll it up like this and keep it like that until it cools. And then a good idea is to always shape it more, sort of exaggerate the shape you want, because it will like loosen a little bit. You can see I've got it on my head form here. I think it looks pretty good. So next we're going to attach, actually no, I'm wrong. First we're gonna add a bevel on all the edges here with the rotary tool. Okay, so I sort of rounded over most of the edges here, or like all the edges except for, come on, focus, there we go. This edge right here is a bit more of like a beveled edge, and the rest of them are just sort of rounded. And then I did the same with this piece. And then I got the pieces for the horns here. I'm gonna start working on the horns. So you need, for each horn, you're gonna need 2 of these pieces mirrored, and one of these pieces here. So one of those, and those 2, and same for the other side. And you can see, come on, focus, there we go. On this piece, on these pieces, I used the rotary tool to sort of sand on the back side, on the edges, so that these can come to a point and connect together. So I'm gonna go outside and put some contact cement on the edges here and glue them together. Alright, time to start gluing these together. I have a middle piece like this, and I'm just gonna start attaching this together. Okay, so I have the horns now, and I completely forgot to do this before putting them together, but that's what I forgot to do, is heat shape them. So I guess I'll try to just do it now, but the thing is, the reason why you want to do it before is it can open up the seams a little bit. So just try to remember to do it before. There we go, and some of the seams did come apart a little bit, so I just kind of glued them back together just with a bit of super glue. Now, the seams aren't perfectly even, so I'm gonna even them out with my rotary tool. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover up the seams, sort of fill them in, and for that, I'm gonna use some caulking gun like this. I just put some on this little scrap piece of poster board here. You don't need to. Actually, it came out on its own. I didn't mean to put it on there. But I'm gonna apply it with a palette knife anyway. So just go over the seams here, and I got a little cup of water here that I'm going to use to smooth it out. And I usually do a few layers of this, some thin layers, and keep in mind you can't really sand this afterwards, so try and get it as smooth as you can with the water. So once those are dry, I used the knife to score a line around the edge there on both of them, scoring is just cutting a little bit of the way through the material. So now, here's a really cool trick. You can take your heat gun and open up the cuts. It stopped filming just before the most satisfying part. So, these are finished. And on this piece, just to keep it in this curved position, I glued a piece of poster board on the back. Now, the reason why this works is because, like, well, I don't exactly know why, but if you were to glue this on while it's flat, it wouldn't work, but just by gluing it while it's in that curved position, it just sort of keeps it in that position. So yeah, I think I got all 4 pieces, so I can glue them together now. So first I'm gonna glue this piece right onto the center. There we go. Next, I'm gonna take the horns and glue them on. Take the horns and glue them on. There we go. Whoops. Now I'm really happy with how this looks. I mean, the horns are a little bit too big, but I'm fine with that. I think it looks really cool. And if you're wondering how I have it on my face right now, it's just tape. But I'll add some elastic straps on it later. But after I paint it. For this project, I'm using Plaid FX paints. Now, this is not a sponsor, but I love these. I use them on pretty much every foam thing that I make. What's great about them is that they're designed specifically for foam, and they're really flexible. If you are not using flexible paints like I am, you'll need to seal the foam first. If you want to learn more about this, I'll put a link to a video talking about all the ways you can seal foam in the description of this video. So I'm using brown as a base coat because metallic colors look better with a base color underneath. And I found that brown works the best for gold and black works the best for silver. Next, I'm going to paint it gold. By the way, the color I'm using is called Golden Hour. After the paint dries, I glued on an elastic on the back so that you can wear it. And with that, this project is finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a like on the video. And follow me on Instagram if you want to see some more stuff that I make that I don't show here on the channel. And if you want to see sneak peeks on future projects. And join the subreddit, and so I can see your cool stuff as well at r/benfilms. And yeah, so like and